You know what I surmise? That all the major leaders of all the major countries are just sociopaths. They have the same qualities in them that makes a leader of a gang the leader of a gang. The one person who will go the farthest, commit the most horrendous crimes, and who is the most psychotic is always the other psychos around them push out to be their leaders. I made a video in my classic boxing and MMA channel, stating the only reason that going to the military is the right choice over being in the gang. In other words, I said that there is no real right or wrong, good or bad. It's just the best choice. The best choice is what makes right. The worst choice is what makes wrong. I took a comparison between the recruiting neighborhoods for the military and for gangs. They're all mostly neighborhoods, underemployed, impoverished, minority neighborhoods where people have less of an opportunity to reach, I guess, what people call the American dream, but it's really the American nightmare. And it's fastly becoming the American nightmare as American businesses outsourcing and other countries are catching up with America as far as manufacturing goods cheaply. Um, that increasingly puts more Americans out of work, and that's why I said the American nightmare. But I don't want to digress, and I'm gonna go back to the topic. If you look at the military, like I said, they always go to neighborhoods that's depressed neighborhoods, financially depressed, minorities who group together for comfort and safety, I guess, for safety and financial safety and group safety and culture. You'll notice a lot of European, a lot of white boys in the military have southern accents. There was a lot of black people in the military. Now, increasingly, there are a lot of Hispanics in the military. All underprivileged peoples in America. But I guess in America they're underprivileged, but in any other country they be rich. But anyway, like I was saying, what's the only thing that makes going to the military a good idea or a great idea or the right thing to do rather than being in the gang? And like I said in my other video, oh, excuse me, folks. Uh, what that would be is that if you go to the military, first of all, it's approved. You get approved to go and kill other people. The whole country backs you. The power structure of the country backs you. 9 times out of 10, there's no consequence. Like in other words, you don't get put in prison or what have you, because no one is powerful enough to put you in prison. If you join a gang, 9 times out of 10, the police can come and put you in prison because that gang is not going to have the resources that the police have to come and lock you up. In other words, that gang don't have the power to keep you from suffering consequences from your activities. The military is mainly charged with They say protecting the country, but when the last time in America, when the last time in America to have a war in defense of the country? Well, World War II. That's about it. Uh, 9 times out of 10, America goes to war to secure their interest, oil interest, mineral interest, alliance interest. The alliances to keep them to empower against their enemies. So in other words, they have alliances. In other words, they have alliances. In other words, to keep the interest and the wealth pouring in from other countries. As long as they have other powerful countries they're allied to, they can keep other allied powerful countries allied to one another from coming in and taking their position as far as getting those resources and things from the other countries that they do. And of course, business and industry is allied to the government because a lot of ways the government get these resources is through multinational corporations, who in turn make sure that America has a GDP and all that to keep its citizens employed, and therefore it's good for national security if your citizens are employed. And a lot of times, scions of these corporations are highly entrenched in America's military infrastructure and governmental infrastructure. So in other words, they keep the money flowing in the families. Business, industry, and government is always tightly together like a fist. And if you look at it, it's no different than the street gangs. Street gangs group together because they need each other. First of all, they're poor. And a lot of them have no other means of surviving other than illicit activities. And they normally perpetrate these illicit activities in the neighborhoods of their origin or where they live. And if they don't group together for protection under a leader or under some kind of structure, then other groups of gangs, people also underprivileged like themselves, can come right in and scoop their territories over, and that'll be the end of their money making endeavors, and the other group will start reaping the benefits. The same thing I just described to you, why militaries have alliances and why militaries recruit and why militaries need soldiers, is the same reason the gangs recruit, have alliances. Like certain gangs are allied to each other. Like Crip gangs are allied to each other and blood gangs are allied to each other. Stuff like that. They'll be like this, like the Western militaries, England, France, Germany, the United States, allies to each other. And now Italy. All of Western Europe pretty much. Like the different gangs allied to one another. But they tell you that somehow inherently that joining the gang is wrong. But I don't like, the reason I say joining the gang is wrong because gangs commit violence against the people in that neighborhood. Don't get me wrong. They do violent acts, they terrorize. But so do the military. They terrorize overseas. They do acts of violence overseas. And then some shit break out here. Like if the American people have an insurrection and want to unseat a government that has lodged itself firmly in establishment, then the military will do violence here in this country to its own citizens. Just like a gang would to the members, to the people in their neighborhood who want to unlodge them, unseat them, dislodge them, and unseat them. What's the difference at the end of the day? The only difference at the end of the day is that one to has the power to keep its members and soldiers from reaping the consequences of their actions, and the other, well, pretty much does not. In other words, if you join a gang, 9 times out of 10, you'll be killed or put in prison. If you join the military, 9 times out of 10, you won't be killed or put in prison. Even if you go to a war, the United States is such a powerful country. First of all, very few soldiers actually participate in the war. I think maybe 2%, 3%. The majority of the soldiers in the military are support around the war effort. So that small percentage of soldiers who actually fight, a much smaller percentage even wind up dead or get killed. So the United States or a country military can offer you benefits, financial benefits, educational benefits, even afterwards getting a job in like law enforcement or something. And even, people admire soldiers so much that a lot of times they even get into politics. And if you rise high enough in the ranks, you can become part of the military industrial complex, like for Halliburton and some of these other countries. Other companies that produce military goods. The same with I say the so-called law enforcement and the justice system establishment, so-called. What is it more than a protection racket? We talk about the police supposed to protect the citizen. How can they when 9 times out of 10 the deed is already done when they get there? There's no way of knowing who's going to get killed or who's going to get hurt before it happens. What's that movie? Was it Minority Report or something? I don't know. There's no Minority Report in real life. And if you look at the soldiers, they basically, the military, the police, they're basically here to protect financial interests, more so than you and me. As a matter of fact, the police in your neighborhood that patrol your neighborhood is pretty much just like in the mob when the mob was in their neighborhoods throughout the country. They controlled those neighborhoods and they kept crime out of those neighborhoods. But at what expense? They shook down most of the vendors and shopkeepers in the neighborhood. In other words, a shakedown is like, you give us a small fee and we'll protect you from anyone who might vandalize, set fire to your stores. And if they didn't pay, then all of a sudden, out the blue, their store will wind up being set on, burning up, going up in flames. Or people will come in and just, slap the patrons around and generally make a mess where people wouldn't come to your shop anymore, or the shop owner themselves would be hurt. What's the difference between a judge and the justice system? If you go through their little municipalities with a loud muffler, they summons you to court, and if you're a poor person and you can't afford to get that muffler fixed right away, then they keep charging you till it becomes like $500 or so on a $40 muffler ticket. And if you don't pay it, then they threaten to put you in jail and all kind of shit. What's the difference between that and a mafioso protection racket? What's the difference? They make these laws so easy for them to give you tickets that if you even get behind a vehicle, get in your vehicle and drive, before you go up the street, you committed 10 crimes. You didn't mean, they just make it so loose like that so that they can um, so that they could get money out of you, extort money out of you. It's extortion. So, and then when you go before a judge, you have to deprecate. I mean, deprecate yourself. You have to be in deference to these motherfuckers. You have to almost bow to a son of a bitch who you're paying they goddamn this so supposedly you're paying their salary through taxes. When's the last time you seen an employer bow and be in deference to the employee? This whole system is full of sociopaths from the top to the bottom. Now, I'll say this. I'm not claiming Trump is no different than the rest of them, okay? But here's just an example. There was a black guy on one of these, I think it was NSBC, and he was complaining. Now this guy was, I guess he was some kind of English specialist or whatever the fuck he was. But he was using all these elitist, pretentious words, okay? All these giant words. And he said that the reason that that Trump was not liked amongst the elite, he didn't use those words, but you know, the reason Trump was not liked, he says, because he speaks like a guy from the 1950s who are from like 50s. What did he say? 50s like cinema and 50, you know, that kind of thing. You know, like he read like pulp fiction books or something, or you know, spoke like a 1950 average, from the 50s to the 70s average person who had just average 1950 through 70s lingo. He said he doesn't try to communicate in superior words or use superior wordage, you know, and all that, or purport himself like a diplomat or like a head of state supposed to. In other words, he doesn't come on like a Mitt or a Todd or one of these pretentious elitist Democratic politicians. And that's the one thing, you know, there's a lot of things about Trump I don't like, okay, a lot. Number one, I don't like his stance on Social Security. I don't like his stance on the welfare, cutting the welfare. But one thing I do like is that he's not like the rest of the assholes. He's not a robot like the rest of the assholes. You get what you see. If he's a racist asshole, he don't try to act like he's not. If he's not a racist asshole, he don't try to act like he is. So anyway, I just want to close with saying, you see that this whole system is run by con men, sociopaths, despots, extortionists, mafioso style, politicians, judges, cops, what have you. And I ain't got to most of the cops yet. The cops kill. Okay, now look. I'm not saying that it's like as bad as blacks killing each other, but the police, the reason it's worse with them is because they can get away with it. They kill. A cop I saw on TV shot the black man told him, I have a CCW, and he was showing him his ID, trying to show him his ID, and this cop just killed him. And nothing was done about it. A police officer shot a black man running from him in the back. I think he just I don't know, he did get convicted, but he didn't get convicted on first degree murder like he should have. And then if you kill one of them motherfuckers, oh God, oh, it's such a crime. Oh, we got to kill everybody. Everybody must go. You know, but if they kill you, it's brushed under the rug. Like your life means nothing to them. Whether we realize it or not, folks, we are being ruled by the people that we're supposed to pay for our protection to keep us safe. The police ride around with a car, with their on their car saying, "We what protect and serve." Yeah, we protect and serve our goddamn self, our political masters, and our economical masters, not the people. I just wanted to run that past you. Me myself, as a former correction officer, and I've done security in the worst places in Cleveland. I even worked for CMHA, police and security at one time. And I'm gonna tell you something. There's some good officers. There's some good correction officers, but there are a lot. Most of them are sociopaths or near sociopaths. I'm just gonna be real. Either that or they're neutral. They're not. They don't really care about protecting you. They just care about a paycheck. They care about a paycheck. I could have became a Cleveland police officer, but I didn't agree with a lot of these stupid laws. Like, if people want to smoke marijuana, that's their business. If a woman wants to sell her body to a man and he wants to accept, or a man wants to sell his body to whomever, that's their business. What goes on between two consenting adults is their business. There's no reason for the police to take people's cars, confiscate people's wealth, put people's names all up on the front page of the paper, like they're trying to shame you for what? Sex? So now they have to be in your bedroom and tell you how to have sex. I mean, it used to be a law against sodomy, but the gays, I guess they got a strong lobby, and now all that's all right. It's even all right for them to marry. But a man and woman having natural sex, the real natural way, because a penis and a vagina is the natural way of sex. I don't care how mad you people get. Now, I'm for freedom, and I believe if gays want to go and do whatever, that's their business. But I'm saying, for the record, not off the record, that a man and a woman having sex is natural. It's natural. Not a man going in a woman's behind, but where it's supposed to go. Now, I'm not saying that don't do it or whatever, but all I'm saying is I worked in prisons, and 9 times out of 10, the men that want to go on a woman's backside has done a lot of prison time. And you can put 2 and 2 together on that. But that's neither here nor there. I didn't want to be a cop because I felt being a police officer would impinge on the citizens' rights. And I don't want to impinge on citizens' rights. You want to smoke a joint, that's your damn business. If you want to buy a prostitute and she wants to sell it to you, that's their business. Between a man and woman is their business. It's like this country is turned against the natural way of sex, the real way of sex, and all kind of perverted stuff. They're for. They're co-signing for. I'm not saying they shouldn't. I'm okay. Well, here's what I'm saying. I believe in freedom. So if people do what the hell they want, but don't turn around and impinge on the natural man and woman who consent to whatever sex they consent to. You know what I'm saying? As long as they're not the bestiality, harming their animals, don't want to have sex with humans. Humans have to trick the animals, having sex with them, like find like a female animal scent or something and smear it on themselves or something. I think that men and women having sex with animals is force. It's more or less more or less than the animals. Some assholes, man, there's some crazy mothers in this world, I'm telling you. Some crazy mother, you know what's in this world. But anyway, I'm going to finish up with that. Sociopaths run this world. Don't ever get it twisted. They do. Have a good day. If you like this video, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, please do. Peace, and have a damn good day. Oh, yeah. Have a damn good day.